Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Adit, and today I'm going to share some of my insights with you on a most commonly used but I feel the most misunderstood concept, that is intuition. Now, what is intuition? Intuition is used very commonly by so many people with so many different words. Some people call it intuition, some people call it inner voice, some people call it higher self, higher consciousness. So, there are so many different terms which are used for this word or for this concept, but I prefer to call it as intuition. And uh, so it is used so commonly nowadays by so many people, even during their day-to-day conversation. Like people say that, oh, okay, I felt this intuitively, or my inner voice was saying this, or my higher conscious guided me to do something, that's why I did it, so etc. etc. But we need to think here that do we really understand the actual real meaning of this term intuition, what intuition is in reality? Because honestly, if we did understand the real meaning, most of our problems which exist today wouldn't exist. So that's why I thought that in this video I will share some of my insights with you regarding what I feel to be the real meaning or the real understanding of this concept called intuition. So what is intuition? If you go on Google and you see for different definitions, you will find a lot of definitions. But I don't want to go into the definition of intuition because we are not having a theory lecture here. Basically, intuition, if we want to understand in simple words, intuition is nothing but something which we feel to be true, or something which we feel that we should do something, or something which we feel that we should not do something, which may or may not be associated with a logical reasoning. So as I said, intuition is basically, it is based on our inner feeling, or what we commonly refer to as gut feeling. That I'm feeling something to be true. I feel that it is true, but then I don't have any evidence to prove that it is true right now. It might be proved in future that yes, what I thought was right. But right now I don't have any evidence to prove that it is correct or it is a right decision. But I feel inside, I somehow I feel that it is true. So this feeling or this sensation of feeling something to be right somehow is basically intuition. So intuition, some people call it as sixth sense. Like we all know that we have five senses like vision, hearing, taste, then touch and smell. These are the five senses which we are all aware of. So some people call intuition as sixth sense, like other than these five senses. But I prefer to call intuition as a first sense because I find it the most important sense. Of course, all the sense organs are important for our functioning, no doubt about it. But if we compare intuition, importance of intuition with importance of other senses, I would prefer to call it as the first sense or first ever sense, and then I would place the other senses in the order after intuition. But then, if it is most important, if it is the most important sense, why do we find it so difficult to follow? Like the ease with which we follow, the ease with which we believe in our eyesight, or the ease with which we believe in what we hear, what we see, what we feel, something touching our skin, or something which we can taste or smell. We don't believe, or we cannot believe intuition with the same ease. So why it is so? If it's one of the senses, we should find it easy to follow it. So why we find it difficult to follow it? So the answer to that lies in our conditioning. The way we have been raised since our childhood, the way our mind has been conditioned since our childhood, I think the answer lies there. Because we have been conditioned to believe what comes under the purview of these five senses: vision, hearing, touch, taste and smell. So anything which falls outside of these senses, we don't call it a sense, we call it something like it is magical, or it is supernatural, or it is a God's gift, you know. So when you are labeling anything, not only intuition, but when you are labeling anything as magical or supernatural or it's a gift, with one of these terms, it automatically becomes restricted to a particular group of people. Like if you say, for example, that intuition is magical, then of course you would say that, oh, it is something which is magical, so very few people have it. Or it's a God's gift, so yes, obviously very few people have it. How could I have something which is God's gift or something which is magical? So that's a mistake which we make, and it's not our fault. It's the way which is the way in which we have been conditioned. Our mind has been conditioned to believe since our childhood. So it's not anyone's fault. This is how our society runs. Basically, it has been running for last so many hundreds of years. So basically, what we need to do here is that we need to treat intuition as one of our senses, just like we treat vision, just like we treat hearing, just like we treat smell, right? So we have to give that place to intuition, just like we give the place to other senses. Then only we will be able to perceive intuition as a sense and not something which is out of this world, or out of this universe, or something which is magical. Basically, so if we try to understand how intuition functions, maybe that will also help us to really make use of intuition in our day-to-day life. So for example, if we talk about vision, so what is a vision? When light which is traveling from some object falls on our eyes, and then that light is perceived by our brain, it becomes vision. Or what is hearing? Hearing is some sound traveling from some object, it falls on our ears, and then that sound is perceived again by our brain. That becomes auditory signal, or that becomes hearing, right? Similarly, we can say about smell or taste, like whatever is smelled by our nose, it is cached by our brains, it is cached by our brain, and then it becomes a smell sense. Similarly, we can say for the sense of taste, or for the sense of touch also, right? So intuition, just like all these five senses, if you see, the seat or the central locus of all these five senses is our brain, right? Whatever is perceived by our brain through all these senses, we consider it to be true. So similarly, in case of intuition also, intuition is like, you can say, it's an antenna. It's an antenna of brain. So whatever signals our brain catches from the universe, those signals are perceived, or they are basically cached by our brain, they are processed, and then we receive them in the form of guidance. So that is intuition. So that's why sometimes we feel that we should do something, but then we don't know why we are feeling it, right? We don't know the reasoning. We can't find, even if we try to find, we can't find the logical reasoning behind it, because it's a guidance directly from the universe to our brain, and from brain to us. So when we feel like doing something, it's not just a random feeling that we are doing, or it's a random feeling that we are perceiving, but it's actually a guidance directly from the universe that do something, do this thing, it is useful for you, or do this thing, it is going to be beneficial for you. So it's a direct message from universe which is cached by the antenna of our brain, and then it is passed on to us. That is intuition, in simple words. So one reason, as I said, that we can't follow our intuition is because we don't consider to be one of the senses, but we consider it to something to be out of this universe, or something which is magical. This is one reason. Second reason, I feel personally, that we find very difficult to follow our intuition is our society runs more on the logic and less on what we feel to be true. So, of course, logic is important, and logical reasoning has its place in our life. So there is no doubt about it. But I feel that nowadays we give more and more importance, or I would say over importance, to logic and less importance to what we feel as a human being. So that's why, because of giving so much importance to logic, because logic demands evidence from you, logic demands proof from you that whatever you do, I want these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons to do it. If I have these reasons, then only I will say that, okay, this is true. If these reasons are not there, I will say that it is not true. It's as simple as that. So it's all or none phenomena, like black and white. But if we see the universe, the nature, the way human body is built in, none of it is black and white, right? So that's why we are not able to follow our intuition. I think one of the reason is that overemphasis on logical reasoning is one of the reasons why we find it difficult to follow our intuition in our daily life. So that's why, even if intuition is, it's the most accurate sense, if we follow it completely, fully, and in an unadulterated way, we feel that it is the least accurate. Like, people say that why you are following our heart is not always true, or following our intuition is not always accurate. Rather, it is the most accurate sense among all the senses which we have, if we follow it accurately and if we follow it in an unadulterated way, or in an unbiased way, we can say. So I think that in case of intuition, if we really want to develop our ability to follow it, or develop our ability to really perceive it in a correct way, then I think we should start treating it as a sense and not as something magical. Secondly, what we have to understand is every human being on this planet Earth has been gifted with this sense of intuition equally. There is no human being which is more intuitive, or there is no human being which is less intuitive. It's just the matter of who follows it with full faith and who doesn't follow it with full faith. That's it. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the sense of intuition has been gifted to all the human beings equally. Just like everyone, everyone can see, everyone can hear, everyone can smell. Just like that, everyone can feel intuitively and in a correct manner. The only thing which we need to do is to believe this gift of nature, which has been given to all the human beings. So I think if we start treating intuition as a sense, just like other senses, I think eventually, slowly, we will start developing this ability to, we can say, manage our life, or drive our life based on intuition. I'm not saying that we should not follow logical reasoning, or logical reasoning has no place in our life. As I said before, it does have a place, it does have a very important place. But I think we should allow our life to be steered by intuition as well, along with the logical reasoning. So if we do that, I think, many of our problems will be solved, or at least we will be able to find solution to many of our problems, which the solutions which are otherwise blocked, because we don't give due importance to the intuition, or what we feel intuitively. So I think it might take some time, because since our childhood we have been conditioned not to use our intuition in our daily life, and so suddenly if we start following it, we may find it difficult initially to really believe it, or to allow intuition to guide us or to steer our life. But if we believe it, if we eventually start believing in intuition, then I think we'll be able to develop this ability slowly, and eventually we'll be able to revive this sense of intuition fully, to its full capacity. And I think if we can really use this sense, this sixth sense, or I would rather call it this first sense of intuition in our life, our lives will really be magical. So magical will not be just a word in the books, or in some fancy stories, or in some fancy films, but our lives of all of us will really become magical. We'll start experiencing the magic in our day-to-day life, when we actually start implementing intuition and when we revive this intuition to its fullest capacity. So that's what I thought I would share this insight with you. And if you like my video, then do like it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share it with your friends, family members, and with your acquaintances. And see you in next video. Thank you so much.